And you are not able to hear me. That's great. So, welcome to the session on Bootcamp of Digital Forensics. So, let us start with the definition of cyber forensics. So, what is cyber forensics mean? When some incident has been happened, okay, or I would say if some attack is happening and you get to know through some advisories or any of the technical body that there is a threat actor is active and he need to compromise your system. Okay, he need to get into your system. He need to uh, theft the data onto your system. So the role of digital forensics is coming. So there are two important areas of digital forensics. One is a pre-attack and one is a post-attack. Okay, so we have to understand these very basic concepts of digital forensics. That one is a pre-attack and the other one is post-attack. Okay, I'm putting some notes also so that you can jot down. Okay, so one is a pre-attack and the other one is a post-attack. Okay, so whenever we are talking about the digital forensics, so all the methodology to work on the pre-attack on onto the post-attack is entirely different. Okay, so we will be talking whenever we are working some of the artifacts or some working with any of the issues. I will be mentioning that this is a pre-attack scenario and this is a post-attack scenario. So this is very important to understand the pre-attack and the post-attack. So cyber forensics, or a different word we used to say, is as a digital forensics. Okay, so forensics, what does forensics mean? Forensics mean, I think you have seen that serial CID. In that CID, there is a forensic expert, Mr. Saluke. Okay, I think so. Everybody is remembering his name. So he is an expert. So whenever a dead body is coming to his mortuary on the bed, he is doing some of the cutting or something chirapadi, and he used to say that he has taken some drugs or some poison is there. So there can be any case. So in the same way, let us suppose this is a system and this bloody guy A want to get into the system and he is not allowed to do that. Okay, but unfortunately, due to some of the vulnerabilities exist into the system, he is able to sit inside the computer and he has done some fraud. Okay, when the fraud has happening, or I would say what the fraud is completed, then to analyze how he has entered and what are the path he has used, what is the I would say modus operandi, what is the modus operandi, and also what are the paths which has cleared by the attacker. So these all are the part of the cyber forensics, or I would say digital forensics. So the brief definition of cyber forensics is it is a methodological investigation of digital devices. Okay, so digital devices can be your PC, can be your laptop, it can be your mobile, it can be your smartwatch, it can be your Alexa, it can be your CCTV, it can be your Wi-Fi based earphones or headphones. So any type of digital device, any type of electronic device who is using some mode of communication, or I would say who is processing the data at any point of time, is we are considering as a digital device. Okay, so having investigation of digital device and the electronic data who is residing on the digital device. Okay, so I want to mention here the electronic data who is residing on the electronic device, or whether it is transferred or stored onto the digital device. So to uncover the evidence of cyber crimes or security breaches, ensuring the integrity of digital evidence for use in legal proceeding or investigation. So this is a simple definition, I would say, for the digital forensics, and it is very much required to understand the basic definitions. Because until unless you do not understand the basic definitions of anything, there is no use of running a tool. Okay, so in some of the classes, I got some feedback. So they have started directly with the FTK measure, they have directly started with the chainsaw, they have directly working with the lot of fancy tools. So we are covering each and everything, but each and everything will be coming step by step. Okay, so you have to understand that what is the importance of digital investigation. Okay, because digital investigation is a process by which you can make and blame something. If you are blaming something, someone, that he has done some crime, then you have to prove in the court of law. If I specifically talk about India, the IPC is taking care of that in the case of criminal cases, and the IT Act, we will be covering some of the laws also. IT Act 2008 is the main law in India who is taking the in charge of all these digital issues and digital investigation. So what are the importance of digital investigation here? Evidence preservation. Okay, so whenever you are collecting some evidence, it is utmost required to preserve it properly. Otherwise, its integrity is going to be doubtful. Okay, so let us suppose this is a PC, and you have copied the entire file structure. Okay, in this case, you have an entire file structure into a hard disk. Somebody has pasted some file onto it. Apart from this, let us suppose this is a file folder A, and somebody has posted folder B onto this drive. So if you are copying anything from this drive, it is basically uh, creating a doubt on the integrity of a file, because every time you are creating evidence, it is resulting into a hash value. Okay, what is a hash value? We will be covering in future sessions when we are talking about the file attributes. Then we will be talking about the hash values. Okay, so every folder, every file has a hash value. Even the entire disk has a particular hash value. Okay, so what I'm saying? Every file has a hash value. Every folder has a hash value. Even entire disk has a hash value. And to prove in the court of law, the hash value cannot be changed. If the hash value is changed, it means there is a breach into the hard disk, there is a breach into the data, the original data of the criminal is being modified. So after the breach of integrity is observed by the court of law, the evidence is not going to be accepted for the legal proceeding. Okay, so you must understand that why a digital investigation is playing a pivotal role in this. Secondly, identification of preparators. Okay, so by examining digital artifact and electronic trail, cyber forensics help identifying individual or entities responsible for cyber crime or security breaches. So this is a very important part. Then we have an incident reconstruction. As I've already told in my previous slide, that whenever you are doing any of the forensic act, you are maybe you are analyzing some mobile, you are analyzing some PC, you are analyzing some of a laptop. So in that case, incident reconstruction is very important. That how, as you can see, I've already mentioned that how the attacker enters, what are the path, what are the modus operandi, what are the path cleaning processes. So these all are the incident reconstruction, so that you can reconstruct and find out the actual root cause analysis of an attack or any data breach. Okay, the other important part of any investigation is legal compliance. Because why you are doing any investigation? The question is why? Because you want to prove that someone has done some wrong. Okay, why you want to prove? You want to prove that someone has done some wrong, and wrong can only be proved in the court of law. So legal compliances is a very important issue. Secondly, risk mitigation. By understanding the root cause analysis of any cyber incident, organization can implement measures to mitigate future risk and enhance their cybersecurity posture. So this is an important area. Then confidence in findings. So these are the important thing that you must remember always. What are the scopes and applications of digital forensics? Cybercrime investigation, as we have already discussed, data breach responses. Because when you are creating the trails, then you are able to find that who has done the data breach and how to respond to it. Incident respond, IR. So DF and IR are basically DFIR, we used to say digital forensic and incident response, and they are done simultaneously, usually into the organization. So let us think there is a hack or there is an attack onto the system. So you need to respond to the incident, and the other team is going to start the collection of artifacts. Okay, so this is very important. Then we have a intellectual property theft. So in case your data is being theft or some pictures is being stolen by someone, so you can prove by the DFIR through the digital forensics, employee misconduct, litigation support, compliance and regulatory forensic requirements. So this is the very important area and scope of applications. Now, what is a digital evidence? We have understood that what is digital forensics. Now we will understood what is digital evidence. What is being analyzed? What is being analyzed is called digital evidence. If you are analyzing a CD drive, it is a digital evidence. If you are analyzing a floppy drive, it is a digital evidence. If you are analyzing a hard disk, then also it is a digital evidence. So anything what you are analyzing is basically digital evidence. So digital evidence refers to any data or information that is stored or transmitted in digital form and is relevant to an investigation or legal proceeding. Okay, so let us have some questions. Just a small question. So I just want to have your answers on the chat box. Do you think that the logs of firewall is a digital evidence? Yes or no? I just want to have your answers on the chat box. Good, good, good. Yes, logs of firewalls are very important. I would say artifact. Okay. हिंदी में हम लोग इसको कहते हैं सबूत. Okay, so these are the very important artifacts, and as an forensic investigator you have to understand the importance of logs. Okay, so in this boot camp we will be having a separate session on the log analysis. Okay, so this is the very important part. I will be showing some of the live firewalls to you. And in that firewalls, how the attacker is trying to send these SYN packets. I think you must have um, heard about SYN flood attack. Okay, how many of you heard about SYN flood attack? Okay, so SYN flood attack can only be detected through the logs. Okay, so SYN flood attack is a very important attack, which is usually used to do the DDoS attack, distributed denial of service attack. So logs are very key artifacts, I would say, to uncover the forensics during any digital evidence issues. So this evidence can include a wide range of electronic data, such as files, emails, chat logs, social media posts, internet browsing history, metadata, and more. So logs are also digital evidence is collected from various sources, including computers, smartphone, tablet, server, cloud storage, and other digital devices. Okay. Okay. Tell me if a system is not connected to computer. If a system is not connected to computer, do you think it can be attacked? Yes or no? Very good. So there are a lot of responses, yes, and definitely it can be attacked because there is a very important term that we used to call as a air gap. Okay, so air gap is basically isolating your system, isolating your system from the outer world. Please bear with my handwriting. I know I have a very bad handwriting. So isolating your systems from the outer world, but still, if you are putting so much of efforts to save your system, still your system can be compromised because lot of things nowadays develop which can be affect your systems. Okay, so this is the very important part of the digital evidence. Then we have talked about the laws and regulation related to cyber security, cyber forensics. So as I've already told you, the most important part is IT Act 2000. Then we have another information technology, reasonable security practices and procedures, and sensitive personal data or information rules 2011. This is also important. So I will be taking one session particularly for the cyber law. Okay, so until unless you do not understand the law, you cannot do a forensics. Because if you understand the law, you know how to produce an evidence into the court of law. Then you will, while you are examining any system, you will try to find out and have a keen focus on that particular evidence because you know that this evidence can be helpful in the court of law. So understanding the knowledge of law is very important part of it. Then I have already told you IPC, Indian Penal Code. Then we have a cyber regulation appellate tribunals, Indian Evidence Act, National Cyber Security Policy 2013. Okay, so these are the important laws I would say which is very important. Some person is asking, sir, there will be a final exam. Are you seriously interested in learning or asking this bullish, these rubbish questions? Seriously, try to be mature and try to learn what we are. You all get an opportunity to learn. Okay, so try to focus on it. Okay. So what are the stages? So what are the stages in digital forensics? Okay, so what are the stages in digital forensics? So the first stage is identification, second is preservation, collection, analysis, documentation, presentation, and review. So these are the 7 stages in different books. I would say maybe you are some student of some forensics lab or something. These two type of stages are sometime merged as a presentation, but I usually put each and every layer in a different part. Okay, so how many layers are there in OSI model? 7. And how many layers we have put down into this digital forensics? 7 model. Okay, so just remember from the OSI that how many layers are into the digital forensic. So what is identification? When we are identifying something, that what has happened, what are the areas on which the work need to be done. Okay. Okay, so let us suppose there is a big data center with 100 servers and 21 firewalls or something, I would say 8 routers. So you will not start the forensics of the entire infra. If you start the forensics of entire infra, you will be ended up with a lot of trouble. Okay, so identification of the particular system which is being infected or which is used to do an attack or orchestrate an attack. So this is important to identify the particular system. Then we have preservation, because preservation of system is very important. Okay, so once you are identified with the system and still you keep it connected with the internet, so there is a chance that some persistence is already there. Some attacker bot is already sitting onto the system and you have started doing digital forensics. So this is not a way. You need to preserve that system. Then you need to collect the artifacts. Okay. So what can be the artifacts? Artifacts can be your RAM dump, your hard disk, your network traffic. Artifact can be your logs. Artifact can be your web browsing history. So anything can be artifact. We have already studied the definition. Then we have analysis. We will do some analysis, and then we will do the documentation, because until unless you do not document the thing, it's not easy for you to present. Okay, so there is a huge relation between documentation and presentation. So if you are not documenting the thing properly, you are not going to present the thing properly. And if the court of law is not able to understand what you are trying to present, definitely with all the artifacts, all the reliable sources of incident reports, you are not able to make someone and prove someone guilty. Okay. And the last but not the least is review. So always review what you have done. Okay, see, so these are the stages. I think I have already discussed about all these stages. What is the identification? What is the preservation? What is the collection? So collection is very important. Stage involves the systematic collection of digital evidence from various sources. The process need to be documented meticulously to maintain the integrity of evidence. And this preservation part, always remember. Okay, I will give you a very small example. There is a data theft into an office in the server A. Some person who is a digital forensic expert, he came into the office and find that this is the important system, and a lot of data theft is happen on this. And he thought to come tomorrow. Actually, he has some wedding of friend or something. He has some birthday of his kids. So he left this system unattended, and after he has left, somebody has formatted it. Okay, so what exactly I want to say is that whenever you find this system, always try to preserve it. Okay, so the focus here is on securing and preservation of digital evidence. This means isolation not logically. Here isolation is physically, and protecting the device or data to prevent tampering, alteration, or loss of evidence. Okay, so in this case, basically when the system is being formatted, it is a loss of evidence. Okay, but still, forensic investigator, even after the formatting, he can retrieve the data. But definitely, it is having a more tedious task for him. Okay, so this involves creating digital copies of data, leaving the original data untouched. So there are a lot of things that need to be done. So these are the three important stages. Then we have analysis, documentation, and presentation. So analysis, during this phase, forensic expert closely examine the collected data. What the data he has collected, I think we have already jotted down some of the main data. We used to do data dump, RAM dump. We are collecting. We will be collecting hives from registry. We will be collecting histories, logs, browsing data. So I think already we have discussed on it. This involves using various forensics tools to recover deleted file, inspect hidden files, and parse through large data set to find relevant information. And then we have documentation. Documentation, I've already said you that it should be clear and detailed enough to understandable by the individuals, because without technical knowledge, because inside the court, the lawyers and court officials are not the technical people, they are the non-technical guys, and you have to make him understand with your research. Okay, so if you go into the court of law and you will say, sir, I have found that in the application layer a malware is available, the malware is connected to the C2 IP, and C2 IP is doing a DDoS attack. Do you think that this statement can be useful inside the court? Okay, just type yes or no inside in the chat box. Do you think this type of statement is admissible in court of law? You have to write in such a manner that the easily other person can understand. So when we are in this bootcamp, we will be talking about each and every section. Analysis is a very important part, but most of the time people are not focusing on the documentation part. So particularly we will be focusing on each and every part. Then we will be having the presentation. Okay, how you will present the same into the court of law, because until unless you do not want to understand it properly, so we will be try to have a mock court also, if time permits, mock court, in which we will make some teams where there are some criminals plus there are some judges. I think you already know about red team, blue team, white team. So we will try to simulate each and every part so that you can enjoy your learning throughout the boot camp. Great. And the last but not the least is review. So what are the important artifacts that are commonly considered in the cyber digital forensics? What are the common artifacts? Logs. So there are a lot of logs into the system. So what are the logs that are important? We need to work on system logs, your application logs, network logs, security logs, because these logs are containing valuable information about activities on a system or network. These log can reveal user actions, system events. So if somebody is logging into the system, it is creating a Windows event and it is going into the event log. Okay. Network connection. If some network connection is created, let us suppose us there is a laptop and it is connected to some Wi-Fi. Okay. So in that case, there is a registry value created inside the registry hypes. So, there is a very important part that the investigator must find out all these issues, that how the network connections are established, what are the different Wi-Fi which are used, what are the different Ethernet which are used, what are the different MAC address of a particular Wi-Fi router which is being connected. So all these things we are going to cover inside this boot camp. This 30 days boot camp will be helping you a lot, and definitely there are a lot of work need to be done after the classes, because in the classes we are focusing on the studies, we are focusing on the demos, but end of the day you have to work hard at your systems, you have to install the required VMs. So we will be having the architecture in this way. We will be having one Windows VM, plus we will be having one Ubuntu, plus we have a Kali. Okay, so do not go and rush all this. We will be sharing the particular version number. Okay, we will be sharing the particular version number, and you need to install that particular version number into your system as a virtual machines. Okay, so don't rush and install the updated versions. Okay, so wait, our team will contact you and they will help you out. And even in any case you people are having some issues, we have some technical leads who will be helping you out. Then the system metadata is also a very important part. System metadata provides detail about files and directories, including timestamp. So timestamp is a very important thing. What I personally found during my forensic investigation, that let us suppose in a data center there are 15 servers, and out of 15, 8 to 9 servers have a different time. Maybe it is a difference of 10 to 15 minutes, but actually, when we are analyzing something, the gap of 10 to 15 minutes is actually a bomb blast. It's actually a bomb blast, because you cannot correlate the events, because correlating the event required you to understand the value of a timestamp. So when the file is created, modified, access, file size, permissions, file attributes, like hash is a very important file attribute, analyzing file system metadata can help in reconstructing file activity. So we have seen a particular thing, that reconstruction is a very important thing. So file system metadata is can be very much useful. Okay. So important artifacts commonly considered in cyber digital forensics. We have registry entries. So in Windows environment, registry contain configuration setting, user profile, system preferences, and application data. Examining registry entries can provide insight into a system. Okay, so just a quick chat. Which command is used in Windows to open the registry? Fast, fast, fast. Very good, very good. Regedit. Regedit is a command you can run from the run window, and the full form is registry edit. So all the registries of a system are available by using this command. You can access the registries. We have a separate area of registry, how the registry is working, how to retrieve the registries, blah blah blah. So there is a very important part of these registries. We will be sharing some of the things with you very soon. So registry entries are very important area of digital forensics. Then we have a memory dump, because now there is a very new thing discovered, that is a file-less malware. Okay, so antivirus, if you are having antivirus into your system, an AV can only scan a file. Okay, usually your AVs are not scanning your RAMs, because RAMs are so much volatile and it is so much of resource consuming that most of the AVs, if you are using some EDR, usually they do not have a capability to scan the RAM. Only some XDRs of certain manufacturers, some certain OEMs are providing you the facility to scan the malware which is residing into the RAM. So memory dump is a very important part, and you have to work a lot of, because we will be having lot of memory dumps. Like I've already told you that we have a memory of around 8 GB RAM of a system which is having um, a WannaCry ransomware, that how the WannaCry ransomware is hiding himself, he is obfuscating himself. So these are the different issues we need to discuss in the future classes, and memory dump is a very important area. Then we have a network traffic. Okay, so network traffic we use, I think everybody is using this Wireshark and lot of things. Okay, so definitely these things will be helping, but we are having lot of other tools also through which the captured network traffic can be analyzed. Okay, so captured network traffic contains communication data exchange between the system, including IP addresses, port, protocol, packet payloads, session metadata. Analyzing network traffic can help you identify unauthorized access. Even all your passwords, usernames, your certificates, your SSL certificates are transferring through the network only. And if somebody is sniffing your network, he is getting your password, username, and each and everything. Okay, so it is very important when you are examining something. Network traffic is a very important part. Then we have artifact of malware, because sometimes we have some artifacts related to malware, like there can be some executable files, script, configuration file, registry entries, network indicators. So in this way, you can find out the artifacts of a malware. System snapshots and backups, these are the also important areas which need to be covered always. User activity log, that who has logged in, who has logged out, what are the events, what are the commands executed, what are the files accessed, modified. In Linux, I would say Linux is so wonderful because it is keeping the history of the commands that are being executed. So sometime during my forensic investigation, when I'm just seeing the history of the particular system in a Linux server, I get to know that what are the different commands are being executed by the attacker when he has having a persistence on the system. So this is very important. Okay, so logs are already very important. User-based logs are so much important. So analyzing user activity can help in attributing action to specific user. So this is very important artifact that can be used. What can be the tools? You can use a disk imaging tools. You can use forensic analysis tools, network forensic tools. So these are some names I've jotted down. And we will be using, like we will be using autopsy. We will be using FTK. We will be using FXways, Wireshark, Network Miner, TCP dump. So I think most of the tools that are written here, even more than these tools we will be using. So disk imaging is a very initial task, because until unless you do not imagine a disk, you cannot analyze it. And I think you must be have listened and some words like cloning, copying, and imaging. So these are the three words. So you have a task to understand and find the difference between the cloning, copying, and imaging. And in the next session, we will be discussing on these three important parts: cloning, copying, and imaging. Uh, I think you thinking that all of the three words are nearly relative, but this is a task for you for today. And whenever the next class is scheduled, you will be get to know, and we will be starting our topic from all the difference between the cloning, copying, and imaging. Then memory forensic tool like RAM capture, we are using some tools, volatility, recall. These are the tools used for memory forensics. Then we have a mobile forensic tool. And in mobile forensics, we will be using Belkasoft. Belkasoft is a very wonderful tool nowadays. And it's demo version, trial version is also available on the internet. So we will be using Belkasoft for you people so that when we are doing the mobile Android forensics we are more focusing on, not onto the iOS, but Android forensics we can do. We will be having some other sessions on it. And we have a file craving tools like Scalpel, Foremost, Fortrack, so that they can recover the deleted data from the disk images, stored media and all. So these are the issues that we will be uh, using. Belkasoft is a paid version, but still it is giving you a 30 days free trial, so you can at least have a good idea of all this. Apart from this, hashing and integrity verification tool, stenography detection tool, timeline analysis tool, open source intelligence tool like Maltego, Harvester, Shodan. So these are the tools we will be talking on. So let us stop this session here only because it's already we have like 50 minutes or something. So no issues. I think you people enjoyed today's session, and in future session we will be taking lot of other important areas. Okay. So just a minute. I'm just stopping the recording. Okay, because you need to have this recording afterwards also.